Hello everyone, in today's video I will be going over the surface area and volume formulas for a cylinder. So actually a cylinder is a special type of prism. I'll go into more detail about why. So if you look back at the prism section of the book, which I'll show you with a different book so you can look at them side by side. A prism is essentially two of a shape connected by rectangles, as you can see in our different ones in here. Well, a cylinder does the same thing. Here we have two circles, and then they are connected together by this shape here. If you think for a moment, I'm sure you have at some point in your life removed the label from a water bottle, more likely than not. And even though it's wrapped around in what looks like a circle, when you remove it, it's rectangular in shape. This is one large rectangle rolled up, and then it has circles on the top and bottom. So a cylinder is a special type of prism. So we can actually get the surface area and volume formulas from the prism formulas. So let's start with those. The surface area of a prism, SA equals 2B plus pH. And we can specialize this because every cylinder is going to look essentially the same. We can make it bigger or smaller, we can turn it sideways, but essentially the composition, we have two circles and a rectangle. That part is never going to change. So we can customize this so that it works for just cylinders. How do we do that? So surface area equals 2. We're going to replace B and P with the formulas that are specific to a cylinder. B is area of base. Our bases in a cylinder are circles, so this is the area formula for a circle. The area of a circle is pi r squared. So we're replacing B with pi r squared, plus perimeter of a circle is 2 pi r, otherwise known as the circumference of a circle. So replace P with 2 pi r and bring down the H. This is the surface area formula for a cylinder. Essentially what this does is it saves us time, so then we don't have to go through and find B and P for every cylinder. We have the actual formulas in the surface area formula, so then we just have to substitute R in both places. That's all we have to do. It is going to save us time and work. We can do the same thing with the volume formula. For a prism, the volume formula is V equals BH. So we can replace the B, just like we did up here, with pi r squared. And then again bring down the H. And this is the volume formula for a cylinder. All right, let's try it out with an example. Here we have a Pringles can, and on average, a Pringles can has a radius of 2 inches and a height of 10 inches. Using this information, we can find the surface area and volume of a Pringles can. So again, we start with our basic formula. Surface area equals 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. And then we will plug things in. 2 pi r, our radius is 2 squared. Radius up here is 2. Plus 2 pi, again our radius is 2, and our height is 10. At this point, you could plug this straight into a calculator. There are some cons to that approach. If you don't use the correct symbols, if you forget something, there's a good chance you can make a mistake and you won't realize it. So what I like to do instead is simplify as much as possible on paper and plug what my final thing is into the calculator. There are cons to this approach as well, just because there's room for error either way. So I recommend that you do what you think is best for yourself. And for me, I like to simplify. So we have 2 pi and 2 squared. We need to rewrite this in a simplified form. So we need to square the 2 first because exponents come first. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So I can rewrite this as 8 pi plus, and then I will rewrite this as well. 2 pi times 2 times 10, I'll just multiply the numbers. 2 times 2 is 4, times 10 is 40 pi. Now, these both have the pi symbol on it, so I can add these together because they are like terms to give me 48 pi. So this is my surface area. Now I just need to see what that is as a decimal. So I'll put 48 pi into my calculator. Depending on your calculator, you might have to write it as 48 times pi. But whichever way, you should get this as your final answer. If we round to the nearest tenth, that gives us 150.8 inches squared. Since we are doing surface area, our units are squared. Now let's take a look at volume. V equals, again, start with the general formula, no numbers plugged in, pi r squared h. Now we will plug things in. Pi r is 2, squared, h is 10. Make sure you're just carefully checking over your work. It's very easy to drop numbers, forget symbols, all those things. Simplifying, we have 2 squared, which is 4, times 10 is 40 pi. Now let's figure out what that is as a decimal. Rounding to the nearest tenth, we have 125.7. Since this is volume, our inches are cubed. That is all for the cylinder formulas. If you have any additional questions over the surface area or volume for a cylinder, feel free to reach out to me via email or come see me in person. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!